Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today our practice is going to be about letting go. Letting go of what no longer serves you, letting go of negative emotions, of unnecessary anger, accumulated things in our life that we don't need anymore. So that being said, let's come to our mat and we're going to lay flat on our back. Tuning in here, starting to deepen our breath. Feeling the ground press up from underneath us, pressing down, gravity pulling us. We're going to do a little bit of breathing exercise today. So this is called square breathing. And basically, we are going to imagine with our eyes closed a square in front of us. And every inhale is going to go up one side, and hold on the other side. Exhale, hold, inhale. So I'll start to lead you. So let's take one deep breath actually. One full deep breath, letting it go. Now we're going to inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And keeping this going, you can do longer or shorter inhales and exhales, whatever you need. Let's just do this for a couple of rounds, really tuning into ourselves, slowing our breath down, relaxing. This is a very relaxing breath, letting it go. Surrendering to the ground, surrendering to our breath. Let's do one more round here. And return our breath back to just inhale and exhale. Okay, let's inhale our knees to our chest, opening our eyes, starting to rock back and forth. Let's rock so much that our knees come all the way to the right. Expanding that left arm, looking over those left fingers, bringing our right hand to our left leg and letting go, surrendering into that pose. Starting to wake up our spine. Take one more breath here. Inhale our legs back up. Rocking a little bit. And letting them fall to the left. Gravity taking control. Looking towards the right fingers, bringing our left hand to our right leg. And breathing here. One more breath. Let's inhale our legs back up, bringing our hands to our knees and letting our legs open like a book. You can rock that out if it feels good, or you can find stillness. Starting to open up those inner thighs, your adductors. Maybe twirling our feet one way and the other. Let's reach down and grab the knife edge of our feet and squeezing that into our middle, our stomach. Making sure our lower spine is still on the floor. Can rock back and forth here in Supine Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. Starting to really wake up those legs. Take one more breath here. Bringing our knees back together and rocking back and forth on our spine. Pausing where we can here. Little boat. Holding onto our knees. We'll rock one more time. And before we set our feet down, let's hold them again into that cobbler's pose and setting it down. Bringing our heels close to our pelvis, working to press those knees down. They might not reach, and that's fine, but just consciously surrendering those legs into the ground. Now let's extend through the spine and bend at the hips till we cannot bend anymore, and letting that go. Breathing here. Maybe we can find with each exhale going a little bit deeper, consciously pulling those legs towards the earth. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Inhale, lift back up, coming to the outside of our legs and squeezing them in. Just coming to an easy position here. We're just gonna squeeze our shoulders up to our ears and roll them back down. Starting to open up that chest, wake up those shoulders. Really consciously pressing them up into our ears and then rolling them back down so our shoulder blades are being worked through here. We'll go one more time back. Now inhale them up and roll forward, switching directions. Let's not forget to breathe. One more time forward. All right, bringing our hands to the side and just sitting up straight, pressing into our fingertips, maybe even lifting out of our seat just a second. Really expanding through that spine. And release your left hand, our right hand coming flat on the ground, and just bending into that right elbow and twisting to the sky. Bringing the left hand over our head. Expanding through our side body. One more breath. Inhale back up and over to the left side. Inhale back up, but before we release, let's catch the side of our left head here, lightly placing our right hand over by our ear, still expanding, extending through this left arm, and letting a little bit of a deeper stretch in our neck. Breathing into those difficult areas, releasing that tension. One more breath. And release. Let's bring our left hand to our right side of the head, extending through that right arm. And again, we don't want to be pulling our head down, just lightly letting gravity work its magic here. Breathing into that difficult area of the neck, shoulder, starting to release that tension, letting that go. One more breath and release. Let's clasp our hands, set them on the back part of our skull. Again, we don't want to scrunch it down. We just want to let our elbows hang right by our ears, starting to extend through that spine, that upper back. We don't want to crunch into it. So let's lift up for one, bringing our hands to the back of our head and letting it hang forward. Breathing here. Let's look under our right arm. Under left. One more time in the middle. And release. Clasping our arms again, but the weird way. So my left thumb is usually over my right. So I'm going to switch the right over the left. Coming behind our body. Extending the arms and leaning into those fists. Opening up through the chest, letting our head rest back. Again, being careful to not crunch it back. We want a real expansion through the back of our head, like we're pressing the little part up here into the back corner of the ceiling or the sky, wherever you guys are watching this. Take one more breath. Pressing, opening our chest, letting go. And release forward, letting the hands fall. Stretching into our lower back. Inhale our arms to the right, left, looking up. Breathe here. Inhale them to the right. Exhale. Back to center. One more stretch up. And slowly release the arms. Coming to a hug. Giving ourselves a nice hug, expansion through the back body. Rocking back and forth. Remember, you can always hug yourself. Bringing our arms in the front and switching the opposite arm over. Whichever one you did last. And rocking our body, hugging ourselves, loving ourselves. And release. Let's dive on to our hands and knees to tabletop position. And going into our cat-cows, making sure our hips are over our knees, hips distance apart, and our hands are pressing firmly into the ground. A big frog hand, the four corners of our hand, really working to push the ground away, protect our shoulders here. Feel that. And starting to drop our belly and raise our head, working into those cats. This is a cow, but cat-cows. And tucking our tail, lifting our spine to the sky. Arching into our cat and releasing back to our cow. Let's look back at our right foot and twist our body around to look at our left and just freestyling here, whatever feels good. Find what feels good for your body. Maybe shifting back and forth on our knees, being careful with those. Or arching through and back. Wherever you are, take one more breath. And we'll meet back in neutral spine. Now keep your hips where they are and let's walk our big palms, four-cornered hands, out in front of us, keeping our hips in the same spot and starting to stretch our chest down into puppy posture. You can come onto your forehead, really pressing into those shoulders, opening up those shoulders, or if you can, move onto your chin. Wherever you are here, let's take 4 breaths. Letting go of all of that tension that has accumulated. Breathing here. With each exhale, sinking a little deeper, that chest shining. Maybe you can get your chin now that you've breathed a little. Wherever you are, 2 more breaths. All right, let's inhale back up, back to tabletop, tucking our toes, and just for a moment, let's hover, starting to feel the strength in our body, the strength in our quads and our core, pressing up through our hands. We are strong. 1 more breath, and let go. Let's bring our tail to the sky. Our first dog of the day. So let's walk that out. Pressing through our hands, the 4 corners. Bending one leg and the other. Pressing down through your heels. Pulling that tail to the sky and shining your chest towards the ground. Walking that out. Maybe finding stillness. 1 more breath wherever you are. And let's lift that right leg, opening up our hips, bending at the leg, looking under our arm maybe, breathing, and let that go. Let's square our hips back up, bending at our right leg, and shift through, hovering for just a second, feeling your strength. Inhale, exhale, squeeze it up a little more, and step through. If you didn't get all the way there, that's okay, just bring it up. And here we are, low lunge. Feeling that, making sure our knee is over ankle. We're pressing back through that left leg. Feeling strong. And whenever we feel strong and sturdy here in our low lunge, let's inhale our arms up, coming to a high lunge. Here we are. We are up. Let's breathe, plugging those shoulders in, pulling those thumbs back in line with our ears, sinking a little lower, but making sure our toe is still visible. We don't want our knee to go over there. We don't want it to be sideways or in, straight over our ankle. 1 more breath, and let's release our arms. Clasping our hands together behind us, and starting to stretch through that chest, bending again deep into that right leg, feeling the straight, but also opening up to the sky. Letting that heart shine. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Feeling the strength, letting go. This is a hard pose. Lunges can be difficult. Strength building, but letting go. Surrendering to the pose. 1 more breath. Let's inhale our arms back up and release back down to low lunge. Pressing our left palm into the ground. Again, 4 corners of our hands. And let's peel our chest and our arm up, right arm to the sky. Small twist. Inhale. Exhale. And release back down. Stepping that right leg back to meet the left. Downward dog for just a minute. Walking that out. Maybe shaking it out. Whenever we find stillness, let's shift through to plank. All right, here we are. Again, pressing the ground away from you. You can also do this on your knees. The same benefit. Wherever you are, take 1 more breath.
Let's shift forward on our toes and lower all the way to the ground, to our bellies, coming flat onto the front tops of our feet. Finding the middle of our chest, pressing up, cobra. Opening up our chest to the sky, rolling those shoulders down. You can be at a lower cobra as well. Wherever you are, one more breath. And release. Let's press back up to plank, then shift to downward dog. Now let's go over to that left side, lifting that left leg up, opening your hips, breathing here, letting go of unnecessary tension. Let's shift back to a square hip, pulling our left knee into our chest. Squeeze it up a little bit more and set it through. Here we are, low lunge. Again, knee over ankle, feet spreading across the ground just like our hands, sinking low into that lunge. Expanding through your right leg. Breathe here. Whenever you find your stability, let's press up into high lunge. Bringing our arms up, rolling those shoulders down, bending into that left knee. Breathe here. Enjoying this strength building pose. One more breath. And again, let's clasp our hands the weird way, behind our back. And pulling those fists down that right leg, bending into that left knee, and shining our chest to the sky. Letting go. Unnecessary emotions here. Just smile, you're strong. Wherever you are, it's where you're supposed to be. One more breath. Okay, let's release those arms back up and lower back down. Again, spreading those right fingers to the ground, pressing into that right hand and peeling that left hand to the sky, twisting, shining your face to the ceiling, smiling. One more breath and release. All right, let's step that left leg back to meet the right. Just a moment in downward dog, lowering to our knees and pressing back to a wide child's pose. So bringing our knees to the edge of our mat and walking our hands out and releasing that head. Breathing, closing your eyes, tuning in to where you are right now in practice. Wherever you are, take one more breath. Let's walk our hands back, pressing up to our knees, bringing our knees back in, and starting to stretch through those quads just a little bit. So we're going to bring our hands down towards the side of our thighs here, to the top of our knee, our right hand to the top of our knee, our left hand to hold ourselves by our left thigh. We're just going to pull that leg up, starting to stretch into that ankle, a little bit in the quad. Breathing here, and and release. Now switching to the left side, pulling that up, breathing, and release. Now let's see if we can bring them both up. If you can't, just switch back and forth, but maybe try, you can press into your fingertips and lift back, stretching into the front of our feet. One more breath. Maybe bring our hands to prayer pose, Anjali Mudra, and release. Let's come to tabletop for just a second. Pound those feet out, wake up our toes. All right, let's tuck our toes and kneel back up on our feet, stretching to now the back of our feet, bringing our knees close together. And just let's sit here for a second, stretching out our feet, sitting on our heels. One more breath. All right, coming up onto our knees, keeping our toes tucked. We're gonna move into an Ustrasana or camel pose. So let's start with bringing our right arm to the back of our right ankle, our heel. We can keep our hand on our chest just to feel starting to open up that body. Inhale, back up. Let's bring our left arm out, bring it back to our left heel. Again, consciously stretching back, opening our chest. Inhale, exhale. Let's bring that back up. All right, and if you are comfortable there, by all means, go back to one side and the other. If you'd like to go further into the camel pose, let's take our right hand back to our right heel, our left hand back, and here we are, camel pose. Squeezing our shoulder blades, letting our chest shine. We can release that head, again, not scrunching into our neck, keeping the top of our head pressing into that back wall, towards that wall. Wherever you are, take 3 breaths, letting go of the tension in your back. All right, releasing that, bringing our right hand up, our left hand up, and again, let's press back into a child's pose. Whichever one you like. You can keep your knees close together or do a wide angle. Breathing here, pressing into your hands, stretching into those shoulders and those hips down. All right, let's walk up our hands, coming to one side or the other, and starting to lower ourselves one vertebrae at a time to the ground, bringing our knees into our chest and rolling that lower back into the ground. Squeezing our knees in. Letting your hips rock back and forth. And let's release our feet. Okay, bringing those feet close to your back body here. Making sure our knees are hips distance apart. We don't want them spreading out too far in right here, but engaging those quads. Let's bring our hands flat against the mat and starting to press up into bridge. Squeezing those shoulder blades in. You can even clasp your hands behind your back here.
and squeezing those shoulder blades in, pressing that chest to the sky. Let's raise up onto our toes, just a little bit of extra stretch. Breathing into that belly. And let's release those hands, creating space between our shoulder blades, slowly rolling our vertebrae down. Our heels the last thing to touch the floor. Inhale, exhale. Let's release our legs to the floor, them coming a little further than our mat's distance apart. Now let's come back to our breath, closing our eyes, back to that square breathing. Imagining a square in front of us. Inhaling up one side, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Starting to slow down your breathing, expanding or shortening the breath as you need, following that box. Okay guys, feel free to continue this breathing or come back to a normal breath. Wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Yoga Birch. Namaste.